Hello, I'm Cason Sullivan, a graduate of Van Buren County High School and a current student at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. The following are sit-down interviews with both candidates for mayor of Van Buren County, Cale Crain and Barry Austin. Both candidates were asked the same questions and were not giving access to those questions beforehand. The purpose of these interviews is to give the residents of Van Buren County a better understanding of each candidate and where they stand on issues affecting the county. While I proudly consider Van Buren County home, I am technically a resident of Buren County and therefore cannot vote in this election. Because of that, I approach these interviews as a neutral party. I want to thank both Cale Crain and Barry Austin for taking the time to participate. I would also like to give a special thanks to Eli Brock and the VBHS Media Club for helping make these interviews possible. In the spirit of fairness, I encourage you to listen carefully and objectively to what each candidate has to say. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed these interviews. All right, Cale Crain is with us today. Mr. Crain, how are you doing?
Doing well.
He's an independent candidate for mayor of Van Buren County. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Well, of course, my name's Cale Crain, running independent. I've been the county commissioner for District 1 for a little over 4 years now. I was elected in the last administration towards the end and ran and got reelected or got elected to come in. It's been a journey. But I've lived here my entire life. My parents have lived here. My parents are Johnny and Sherry Crain. A lot of them know them. School here, did plays up here. So, I mean, Van Buren County is home, and it's where my children go to school, you know. I want to take care of it. I want to be able to further the future for Van Buren County.
So, what made you want to run for Van Buren County? Obviously said you were commissioner, but what made you want to run?
You know, it was a shot in the dark. When I first decided, I got voted in by the previous commission. I wanted to learn and kind of get into the county government and see how the function of it was. And I liked it. So I decided to run for county commissioner and got elected. And didn't really know where I'd be sitting on which committee and how I'd be elected to better live in Van Buren County and which position I'd be. And luckily enough, got put on the budget committee and been able to handle the finances and be part of that and seeing where Van Buren County was to how we can maybe better it. And that's been a long road, and it's been a fun road. Mr. Sullivan, David Sullivan, he done a really good job picking each candidate, or not each candidate, but each person for those seats and putting them in these committees. He done a really well job. Everybody has been great to work with on there. Everybody has the same goal. We want the best for Van Buren County. We want to see a good, bright future for Van Buren County and its citizens. And that's key to everyone. And I think that's key to even my opponent. Everybody wants the best for us. And, you know, how we're going to do it is different from each side.
So, again, you said you were commissioner. What other experiences or jobs, anything like that, do you feel prepare you for the office of mayor?
Honestly, I don't know. Don't have a job that prepared me for it. I've worked at the Department of Corrections for going on 17 years now. I did private security overseas for a little over a year. Came back, met my wife. We had kids and decided I'd stay home and set roots here. That's basically what landed me here and pushed me towards wanting to do something to be part of Van Buren County. Even, you know, helping out with T-ball or helping out with basketball or doing anything that can put myself out there with the community to help my kids and show them what we can do and being part of everything.
Tennessee, a growing state. South is growing.
Very much.
Van Buren County is growing.
Very much.
What are some ways that you can help as mayor grow the county without intruding on people's everyday lives?
That's a good question. That's tough in a lot of ways because Van Buren County is a big county, but you know, over 60% of the county is owned by the state park. And we have a very big agricultural program. That could be something that we could look at doing, is reaching more out to get more farmers. That's one of the things that we are losing in the state of Tennessee is our farmers. And, and working along that side. Could you repeat the rest of that question?
without intruding on people's everyday lives?
It's bringing in the right industries, researching those industries and seeing what they do, where they come from, what they can affect, how many positions that, job-wise, what can it do for Van Buren County? Would it bring in more jobs for people to stay in Van Buren County and work? Being able to do that type of research and look into that would be able to see where that industry or that business and what their goal is for Van Buren County.
What can small and up-and-coming businesses expect from you if you are elected mayor?
I'd like to open more doors if possible. Doing that is tricky, and then you've got to have the right means to do that. And as a mayor position, you got to work well with your commissioners. Bringing certain ideas to the commissioners and hopefully, being able to push that and bring that forward to them and getting their approval to help bring more industry, small businesses, or anything of that sort. Yeah. We need more opportunity for them to go. We have a lot of people moving in, a lot of land being purchased, a lot of homes being built. And we need ways to bring in that small business to help people stay here, help people want to do business in Van Buren County.
So as you go through this cycle and you're running for mayor, in your mind, in your opinion, what is the number one issue facing Van Buren County?
Today would probably be industry, work, jobs. And that's something as a county commissioner, along with my other fellow county commissioners, we've worked very, very hard on doing. And saying that very hard is a broad statement, because getting people to come here isn't been the easiest thing. Getting people to decide to come here is what you got to do. You got to sell Van Buren County. We do have small businesses popping up. My wife has a small business. There's several coming into the county. And it's great, but we need some more industry of some type, or more businesses that will be able to provide jobs for people, provide jobs for school age kids, summertime coming around, what they can do, and keep them here, keep them active in the community. Most difficult thing I would say is to do that and to get that in here and keep fighting the fight and trying to get people to decide to come to Van Buren County. Years ago, it used to be our utilities were the problem. That was always what we heard. We don't have utility problems anymore. We don't have anything of that sort that's stopping them. So now you're trying to reach out and get businesses, restaurants. We've been able to have a couple of restaurants, or the Ugly Mug come in. Mel's Diner's doing great, and be able to maybe shift and bring some others in. Nothing for competition, nothing to do anything on that sort. Just more options for people to go eat, more options for people to go shop. And just reaching out to other business owners. If they're in other counties, so be it. Or, if anybody comes from Van Buren County and's got a business idea and it seems like it would be good for Van Buren County and it would benefit the citizens, I would love to do whatever we could do to do that.
So would you have an idea or a plan to address that in your mind?
And kind of like I said, we've got to sell it. We have to sell ourselves. I hate to sound like a businessman or any type of politician, but we've got to open the door for people to come here, give them the opportunity and the want to come here and see that and bring industry here. We've got the people that want to work, want to stay here in the county, want to do business inside the county. But we've got to figure out the strain on what's keeping them there. And that's just sitting down and talking to them. As a mayor, I'll be able to do that more so than how I can as a commissioner now. Your commissioners, all of us have full-time jobs of ourselves, and then trying to keep up and do the business of the county it's a pill. it's big, but it's been great. It's been fun. I don't want anything negative about that. But it's been a pleasure to work for Van Buren County, even if I don't get elected as mayor. It's been a pleasure to do what I've done.
So, as you said, agriculture, farming plays a huge role
Yes.
in the county. What can you do as mayor to make sure our farmers and others in various ag industries make sure they can thrive?
Well, and that's something that I'd have to do a little more research in. I know that they get a lot of assistance, and I would say they get assistance on certain things. We have a great UT extension program. Mr. Binkley and Mr. Owens do a great job doing what they can to do to help farmers and help them progress and help new farmers come in and progress. Even if it's from growing agricultural or raising anything agricultural. We just need to look at more avenues and see what more doors are open that the state may provide, the federal government may provide to help keep farmers moving right along, moving forward.
You also mentioned earlier Fall Creek Falls, the park, 60% of the county. What role does Fall Creek Falls play in the future of Van Buren County?
Fall Creek Falls plays a huge role in Van Buren County. It's a huge tourist attraction. Growing up, you meet new people. You go out, where are you from? I'm Van Buren County, and then Fall Creek Falls. Oh yeah, I've been there. So and that's the change that I want to hit. I want people to not pass through here and say, we just went through Spencer. I want people to say, hey, did y'all remember eating at that place, the Ugly Mug? You got to have more advertisement. We got to sell ourselves more, putting more advertisement. And if there's not, I'm sure there is. The city's doing a wonderful job with tourism and reaching out, and I'm sure they're doing it and working well with Fall Creek Falls. Fall Creek Falls plays a big role in tax money that comes into here. People come through, buy gas, hotel, motel taxes. A lot of people don't know that, the hotel, motel taxes set in Van Buren County, and it's split 3 different ways. I can go into that detail if you'd like for me to, but it's split 3 different ways. It comes in, a portion goes to the city, and then the rest gets split up between the school and Van Buren County. Van Buren County is initially initiated to go into our hotel, motel tax to pay for our debt services, which is huge. That keeps money from coming out of our pockets as a county, essentially. So it's paid off, and we don't, as long as that money's coming in, it's coming in good, that's paid off, and we don't have to worry about putting anything into it. That's a very big benefit, and it's something that we were proud to be able to pass and make sure that that's something that will take care of our citizens for, any debts that we have. We have a new building, we have a new jail that we're paying for still. Things like that. Can you repeat the rest of that question again?
Yeah, just the future that Fall Creek Falls plays.
It's huge. It's been a huge part of everybody's life here. It plays in, it's got over 1 million visitors a year. That's a big deal. Yeah. That's a lot of people that pass through our small town that we need to gather and grasp to put here. Like I said earlier, the city's doing a wonderful job by starting that, doing tourism, reaching out and trying to get people to come here, helping people get started and doing certain businesses and advertising that for them.
So county continues to grow. People can continue to move in here. California, New York, wherever. Everybody's flocking to Tennessee.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Is a destination for that. And with that becomes, real estate development. And how do you plan to approach, future housing and commercial development in Van Buren County?
Like how to approach it in the sense of what?
In the sense of what doors could you open? How could you help to maybe make sure there is a place for that in Van Buren County?
A place for people to come here and live and build?
Yeah, to continue to invest in the county.
Oh, yeah. Lord, the county's doing it for itself. I have new neighbors. They've not even lived here a year. They're from Michigan. They came here on a whim, went to Fall Creek Falls, fell in love with Fall Creek Falls. Got some people, good friends to us, moved here solely because of Fall Creek Falls, because they fell in love with Fall Creek Falls, wanted to be close to it. People coming here is nonstop. They end up loving the small town life. They love the community. They love the close knit of our community. There's really not much extra we need to do. I mean, we're already selling it. Fall Creek Falls is helping us sell it. People are moving in. I think today I was told that just in this year we've gotten a projection of 300 plus new builds just in the county. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge. It's huge on tax revenue for the county and its citizens to help take a levy off of other citizens, and by them building and being able to grow and bring in more families and bring in more people to Van Buren County helps the school grow. And I think we're doing a wonderful job ourselves. And it goes back to Fall Creek Falls. Everybody that I talk to that's moved here is, not everybody, but a lot of people are initiating to come in here because of Fall Creek Falls, because they fell in love with it and they fell in love with the community.
Over the past couple of weeks, there's been a lot of talk on the internet, mostly Facebook, a lot of dyspepsia, concern, all sorts of, arguing online about the possibility of a Bitcoin mining operation here in the county. What should people know about this? Like the pros and cons, and what is your opinion on it?
Well, first I'll give you my opinion. I'm not for, let me back it up. I am for industry coming to the county, even if it is a Bitcoin mining facility, or if it's a data center or anything that means, but it needs to be regulated on how close it is to residents. They produce their own sounds, they produce the other things that a lot of people don't want. The one that was, talked of being put in is not far from my home. And it's really close to other residents. I mean, stone throw distance from other residents. And I think that was initially one of the biggest things, is the problem with the noise that would be accumulated by that. There's a lot of elder and there's a lot of fixed income people that live around that area. I don't know a whole lot, when it comes to actually what a Bitcoin mining data center actually does. That I kind of have a small grasp on it. Bitcoin's a whole nother belly of a beast that I don't understand itself. But I get what these industries are trying to do, and it's got a positive side. It brings in some property tax revenue due to the value of the equipment and everything that's going to be sitting there. And it will provide more tax money or not necessarily tax money, it will provide more to our electric by them paying a bill. Luckily, the one that was talked about wasn't going to do anything on the water infrastructure on cooling. It was all going to be air cooled. But in reality, it's not what that area needs for an industry, in my opinion. Yes, the factory, our biggest factory, there's several factories in that area, but our biggest factory across the road that's been here for many years, it does produce a lot of sound, and it does have a lot of traffic and everything that goes to it, but it's business hours. You're talking about something that's going to be set up and run 24/7, 7 days a week. It's going to be right next to people's homes, and and it's not what we should do to our residents, and maybe a relocation, setting laws or set rules that regulate where and how close these types of things can be built next to homes. And I think that is something that needs to be looked at in the near future. A lot of people don't like the idea of any government invading and telling anybody what they can do at their homes. By no means, and by no means do I want to. I don't want anybody telling me what I can do at my home. And I think that's something that we need to look at in the future for Van Buren County to protect the citizens by implementing certain rules and regulations and policies that set where type facilities like that can go, how close they can be to a home. You have to get with the water companies and figure out if water companies can even handle that type of a load on anything. Van Buren County then went through a big water issue in the past 4 years. That issue's not Van Buren County or Spencer's issue anymore. We're now utilized by Warren County. Total different subject, but I think that data centers, Bitcoin mining facilities, anything of that sort needs to be regulated on where it's going to be located. That's the biggest thing, I think.
Yeah, so your biggest issue would be the location of it in the middle of Spencer.
Yes.
Around residents.
And not even so close to residents. You know,
Yes.
they produce enough decibel of noise at a good distance. And, you know, yeah, you know, like I said earlier, we've got factories in that same area that produce similar noise or similar decibels of noise, but it's only set for a certain time of day. It's not all day, every day. You know, I think that's a lot of what people disapproved of it. And necessarily, you know, once they found out how it was going to be ran, how it was going to actually use a cooling system as an air-cooled system, and that makes it even a little louder. There is certain things that, you know, I went to the meeting that the two gentlemen that were trying to sell it to the citizens, sell it to the planning commission for the city. You know, they did a good job, you know, trying to sell their product, but it still doesn't stop the fact that it shouldn't be that close to people. Yes, there's ways of reducing the sound. Yes, there's ways of making it a lot less appealing, or not appealing, but a lot less visually not seen. But that's not the point. You know, the point is it's just too close to people. Maybe relocating it in another location, but which I said, you know, I think Van Buren County in the future should look into certain regulations to protect citizens, because we don't have anything like that. The city does, but the county doesn't. And I think that's something that the county should probably look into, and in the near future, and possibly before I'm out, we should look into it.
So if you were elected mayor, that is something you would look into?
Yes. If it's not started before I get to leave as a county commissioner, that'd be one of the first things that I'd like to do, is to try to implement some type of rules and regulations. And that's nothing that I do solely. It's something that I'll have to go to the county commission, and the county commission will go to the planning commission, and the planning commission will set the rules. And if they agree to actually even do it. So it's got to go through certain hands. I can't make up my decision on my own. I can at least try to implement it and try to get it started if they want to do it. But if they don't want to do it, my hands are tied on that end.
So you're running as an independent candidate.
Yes, sir.
There will be some people who get to the ballot box come August and see the I beside your name and immediately have some concerns, be maybe a little taken aback by that. And, you know, a lot of people vote along party lines. But what would you say to people to maybe try to win their vote, as to, even though you are an independent candidate?
I think independently. You know, both parties have goods and bads. You know, I feel as if, as an independent candidate, I'm not doing what one party wants to do solely or the other party wants to do solely. I'm doing what needs to be done for the citizens of Van Buren County. And you know, like I said earlier, each party has a good idea and a good thought plan on how they want to do it. And some don't. They just don't. And I've been this way for many years. Even how I vote in a federal election, I vote for the person. I don't vote for the party. And that's okay if that's how people vote. And I just I study the person. I look at how they've voted in the past, what they've done to benefit their people or their citizens or anything like that. And that's how I hope people will maybe look at me. When I came in, the county was in somewhat of a distress. We were still under state scrutiny and being watched by the state very closely because of spending habits in the past. And I'm not by no means going to step in and say anybody in the negative on the previous commission or the previous office. But, you know, it was our goal, the individuals on the budget committee, it was our goal is to figure out a way to get Van Buren County ahead. And none of us in that room looked at each other as, well, you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. We looked at us as citizens of this county that want to better the future for my kids, your kids, you know, we got to build it or we could lose it. And that's a scary thought. And we've done great. I've actually got something I can give you. You can put it on there. You can use it. And it shows our growth that we've had since we came in 2020. And you can definitely see not just the county commissioners or me alone or the county mayor that's sitting there right now. It's each and every office that's there. Everybody plays a part. and we work together. The county commission is the legislative body, and they do make the ultimate decisions on how things are done, how money's spent, where things go. But I feel as if this has been a very big part of how we are done, because we didn't make decisions on parties. We made decisions on individuals. I see, you can think of the I as an individual. I don't see party. I talk to both parties. I was raised Democrat. Like majority of the people that lived in this county for many years was Democrats. And as I got older, I seen both sides of both arguments, and I agreed with different sides of different arguments. And so, that's where I've always failed, is I vote for who the person is, and that's how I hope the people do, is vote for who I am, what I've done, and what I hope to do to better for Van Buren County.
So let's say come January, you are elected mayor. What would be your first order of business?
It'd be a lot. There's a lot that the mayor has to do first thing coming in there. My first order of business would be to start really reaching out to businesses, seeing what I can do, get with the state, seeing what type of areas in my county would be able to produce, and I can bring in industry. And we have a wonderful 111. It brings millions of people down the road constantly. And you just help try to bring business in, start there, reach to other industries, reach to other people, and see who might be interested, and try to work for that goal. Work with the commissioners and find out their goals, because ultimately we got to work together. That's key. The mayor can't do nothing alone. It's a team effort in a sense. I was done by your dad as well. We work as a team, and that's how I've always felt. And that's how I'd have to be with that, and working to try to better Van Buren County and take a lesser load, and trying to introduce a more of a different revenue other than living off the backs of our property owners is key. And that's something that we've all tried to do. And just open up some different doors and seeing what may be available for Van Buren County, and seeing what we can do to go forward.
So as we wind this down, what is your number one pitch, number one thing you want the audience to take away and learn about you?
Oh man, that's a tough question. I'd like for the audience to take away from this, or myself, that I don't do anything without the thought of what is it going to do to better for the citizens. I don't look at it for what it's going to do for me, or what it's going to do for my other constituents. I look at what it's going to do for you, my kids, your kids, anybody. I want people to understand that I'm doing this because what we've worked very hard to do and bring Van Buren County, build it up to be able to get us back to where we need to be, because we're seeing numbers that Van Buren County's never saw before. And we need to be able to push that and stretch that. And I hope that the residents and citizens of this county and the audience that watches this understands that this is for them. I want to do and work forward, and hopefully benefit everything for them for a very bright future.
All right. This has been Cale Crain, the independent candidate for Van Buren County Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for doing
it. Thank you for the invite.
Barry Austin, the Republican candidate for Van Buren County Mayor, is here with us today. Mr. Austin, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me.
So as we get started here, why don't you just tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
I'm Barry Austin. I'm running for Van Buren County Mayor. I won the Republican primary. I was born and raised in Van Buren County. I left and joined the military for 22 years. After that, I contracted with the military for 7 more years. I'm from the 3rd District, so right off the north side of Fall Creek Falls. I've built 3 businesses in this county. I built Fall Creek Falls Market over on Park Road, the north side of the park. I built A&H Custom Meat and Processing, and I built Spencer Storage Solutions. I think most people know me in the county. Hopefully that's a good thing, so we'll go from there.
So what made you want to run for mayor of Van Buren County?
I was asked by several people in our community, and they know I'm a person of service, and I've always tried to serve this county. After I've retired, I mean, I've been a fixture around the sports programs, the youth sports programs, not only donating my time, but money. I've been an advocate for education and stuff on the school board, also paying out scholarships and fundraisers. And so I'm about service. I want to help Van Buren County. I want to make Van Buren County a place where our kids can stay. Right now it's reduced employment around, and even the employment here is underpaid employment. So I would like to try to raise that where our family members can stay.
So obviously you spoke about your business owner and a veteran. What other experiences, or even those and jobs, have you had that you feel help prepare you for the office of mayor?
The biggest thing is the military. It taught me leadership skills. It taught me definitely how to compromise, how to work with people. One of the biggest attributes I see is being able to, if you're the county mayor, you're on a team. You're on a team with the county commissioners. And so I feel one of my first things to do is meet with the county commissioners, find out common goals that we all agree on. Not what we don't agree on, but what's 3 things we do agree on. And I also look at primarily being the full-time employee of the county is to go try to get those goals done. If it's grants, if it's water, if it's businesses, then I'll be the mouthpiece to go try to bring those to the county.
As you know, Tennessee is a growing state. Van Buren County in many ways is growing. What are some ways as mayor that you think you could help grow the county without maybe intruding on people's everyday lives?
The biggest thing we can do, I have a couple ideas that we've talked about, several things, is one is just small business and tourism. Tourism is great for the county because people come, spend their money, and leave. Right now we have a budget shortfall as far as the school system goes. I think everybody in the county's probably heard about that by now. So really you only have 2 options. One is grow tourism dollars, lodging tax dollars, sales tax dollars, or 2, raise property tax. Nobody wants you to raise property tax. So you really have to pick which one you want. And I'm on the side of let's try to increase the lodging tax and the tourism business and bring in some small businesses to Van Buren County.
So speaking of the small businesses, what can small and upcoming businesses expect from you if you are elected mayor?
Well, I'm going to definitely go try to recruit. I think there's some, without giving a whole lot away, I'd love to see a truck stop on 111. I think that's a doable thing. I've talked to a lot of truckers and people. I think that's something we can do. I know there was mention of a co-op coming. The city of Spencer couldn't really find a place for it, but I think we could find a place that on 111 to do a satellite co-op of the White County Farmers Co-op to have it here in Van Buren County. I think that's 2 fairly easy ones we can get done fairly fast, and that's one thing I'll be pushing for.
So in your opinion, what, as you go through this cycle and you're running for mayor, what is the #1 issue facing Van Buren County?
The #1 issue facing Van Buren County is our infrastructure. Water and sewer. I met with Anthony Pelham. He's the manager of the Warren County Utility District, which, by the way, since we're talking, a lot of people don't know, the Warren County Utility District is not owned by Warren County. It's an independent utility district, kind of like Fall Creek Falls Water over on the other side of the mountain. So the Warren County government doesn't control that. I did talk at length with him the other day, and I think we can work together to get grants to try to fix the water, not only the Spencer utility or the Spencer utilities, but also the Fall Creek Falls Water Utility District. I think we can really use the park as some leverage to. It's the #1 park in the state, most visited state park in the state. Really use the park to try to entice grants and to extend the water and sewer. So not only would it help our residents, but it would help Fall Creek Falls State Park.
So to address that, the infrastructure would be through the park and
Well, not as much through the park, but use them as leverage. They have water problems there too. The inn and the hotel have been shut down tons of times because of water issues. So I think we can use that. When they do that, the park loses revenue. So if we had a good, stable water and sewer system there, it would definitely help revenue in the county, but also help revenue for the state by using the state park.
So you and I both know agriculture plays a huge role in our county. What can you do as mayor to make sure our farmers and others in various ag industries throughout the county thrive?
Well, one thing to do, we have a very robust cattlemen's association. I feel our UT Extension office does a great job of that. One is to try to keep property tax low. That really hurts farmers as much as anything. Two, I've already proven that by opening up A&H Custom Meat and Processing, it gives farmers an avenue to get rid of their cattle. Cattle is a big thing, and we call it further on monetary issues, because when you just sell cattle at a stock sale, you'll receive, in today's world, probably $2,200 to $2,400 for a steer. If you keep it to kill weight, slaughter weight, now you're looking at about $4,000 for a steer. So it keeps the money in the county and it keeps it in our farmers' pockets.
So you spoke about a little earlier about the park. What role in your mind does Fall Creek Falls play in the future of Van Buren County?
Well, it plays a huge future. Tourism dollars, we know, I think that's probably the most popular tagline people say today is tourism dollars. Tourism dollars is an easy way to get a revenue stream into the county. The only problem with that is people are coming to Van Buren County and they spend their money in the park, but they're not spending it in the county. They're not spending it at Spencer. I would make a huge push. I think we have a little more robust couple of people run our Chamber of Commerce right now. I think the county can work with them, and I think we can make Spencer, Tennessee, the gateway to Fall Creek Falls. So we need signage, we need things up here saying, hey, this is the gateway to Fall Creek Falls, the visitor center before you enter the park. So I think those are some big things we can work on to continue building Airbnbs, especially if you have some small businesses. One just opened, a small ice cream store on Archie Reinhardt Parkway. It's really doing good. In the summer, that'll be good. But some small businesses that we can get those tax dollars, but also provide employment and summer employment for our kids.
So we've been talking about growth in the county. Fall Creek Falls is a part of that growth, and so on. With that growth becomes more residential and commercial development. And so just how do you plan to approach when it comes to that sort of development in Van Buren County?
Well, residential development's already happening in Van Buren County at a very high rate. A lot of people are moving here because of our values, because of our politics, our conservative values in Van Buren County. I talk to people every day that come in A&H, and that's the reason they located here. So we really need to look for that. What we really have to watch out for is our infrastructure keeping up with that. Our water and sewer system in Spencer and surrounding, especially water, outside in the county, that our water system can keep up with that growth.
So over the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of talk online, on the internet, mostly Facebook, a lot of concern, dyspepsia about Bitcoin mining operation coming to the county. What should people know? What are some important facts they should know about this potential operation? And what is your opinion on it?
I don't think Bitcoin will come here. If it does, it may be located somewhere out in the county. I didn't really play a role in that, even though a lot of people thought I did. Really, I owned a piece of land over in the industrial park. A man offered to buy that land from me. I gave him the number to the permits office. It was denied on May 5th. And then after that, people seemed to get upset about it. But the city of Spencer already denied that. So really, that's a moot point. I don't think it'll come here. If it does, it'll be out in the county somewhere. The problem is they need a lot of power. But I also will tell you, not to skirt the issue, that I would love to have some industry that comes here that doesn't disrupt our people. I'll also tell you, if the same people that are arguing today about Bitcoin, then Acumet Global, or what we know as Dunn Steel, would never be built. It would never be built today. That has provided jobs, revenue for Van Buren County, and a lot of people in Van Buren County has raised their property tax from that, or they've raised their families from working there. It's the same way as the prison, which is not located in Van Buren County, but located in Bledsoe County. But a lot of our residents, even including my own family, has worked at the prison. Nobody wants a prison in their back door. But also, if you look at how many people have raised their families by working at the prison, sometimes you have to make sacrifices to get what you want.
So it's the opportunities that something like that could provide that intrigues you when it comes to that.
It's definitely, we know now that we have some employment opportunities in Van Buren County, but they're also low paying. It's really, really hard to raise a family on $15 an hour. And I think everybody knows that. We really need to shoot for the $20 an hour or more jobs to help the residents of this county. I won't say it's useless, but having a job that pays $9 an hour doesn't really get you anywhere. It keeps you hanging on. So I would really like to shoot for a couple of higher tech jobs, something running CNC machines, maybe a 20-person employment doing that sort of work, where you can pay people a living wage. That's what we need.
So obviously you're running as the Republican candidate for county mayor. There might be some people who get to the ballot box come August and see the R beside your name, and they have concerns about that, or they vote along party lines and would never vote for you because of that. What do you say to them to try and earn their vote?
Well, I think most people in Van Buren County have seen my actions. I've been a supporter of our school system, a supporter of our county, supporter of fundraisers, supporter of benefits. People that know me, I don't think they would have a question about my integrity, truthfulness of what to vote for. Even my actions on the school board, I think, speak for themselves as far as people that know me and keep up with those issues. There's lots of false information about Bitcoin and other things. I don't think those really are a problem. Most of those people are probably not going to vote for me. If they're making up things about me on the internet, then I probably can't convince them. But I will say, if you go around and ask people in Van Buren County that have been here and know me and support me, I don't think I'm going to have a whole lot of problem. I still would love to ask for everyone's vote. I'll be everyone's mayor when elected, and I will continue to work hard for Van Buren County.
So let's say come January, you are the next mayor of the county. What is your first order of business?
My first order of business is to meet with the Van Buren County Commission in open. One thing I see is when we have a county commission meeting, a lot of people come in and vote, but they're not, and they already know what they're voting for. And a lot of times it's just moving money. I understand how that process works. But the big thing is have a discussion with not only the commissioners, but the community about what direction we want to go. What can we do? And I said a little earlier, being the full-time paid employee of Van Buren County, my job will be able to go and get those. If it's businesses you want, I'll call every single person. I'll show up to every business outside this county to try to get them to relocate here. Another thing is having a presence in Nashville. Our grants, get them put in. I've really worked hard the past year, really since I thought about running for county mayor, to meet the candidates running for office, not only state, but nationwide. I've made some big inroads to those. I personally have their phone numbers. Several of them said, hey, if you get elected, give me a call, let's see what we can do. So I'm going to definitely, they may not like me after I get elected because I'm going to drive them crazy. I'm going to be at their door. But we all know if you can fix Detroit, Michigan's water, you can fix our water. And that's the way I look at it is I'm going to fight for Van Buren County to get us grants, or maybe not grants, but just congressional dollars or state dollars to fix our infrastructure and to help us.
So what many people in the county, many residents are going to see this interview. What is the number one thing you want them to take away from this interview regarding you?
Well, just my honesty, being trustworthy. A lot of people have been in A&H. They've dealt with me. They know who I am. The people that go to churches around this county know me. I've supported them. I go. They know that I'm faithful, and I'm going to tell them the truth. They may not like it, but I'll tell them the truth of the issues that we deal with every day in this county. And I hope people see me for who I am and don't take somebody else's word for it. Come and talk to me, or ask 6 people, because 5 of them are going to say, hey, Barry's a nice guy, and Barry's trustworthy, and Barry's honest. Maybe that one's not, but that's politics, and that's just what you have to deal with.
All right, this has been Barry Austin, the Republican candidate for Van Buren County Mayor. Mr. Austin, thank you very much for the time.
Thank you very much.